Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. All right, guys, we're at part 2 of the Extravaganza. We're here again, and this time we're going to go over the NFC East, North, South, West Division predictions and conclusions. We will give you a little bit of a preview and get into the records of all the teams, and we will have our normal ranking 4 to 1, worst to first. And guys, you guys are getting ready? How was part 1 of the Extravaganza? You guys glad to be back for part 2?
I thought it was great, Brent. I had a great time. It was interesting to see me and Steve finally had a little bit of disagreement there at the end. Makes things interesting, liven things up. I'm excited to get to the NFC, Steve. How about you?
Oh, I'm excited as well, guys. I mean, part 1 was awesome. I know part 2 is going to be just as good.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get right into it. We will start with Mr. Steve Retzer, and we will get into the NFC East. If you can give us a little bit of a preview, Steve, of the NFC East in this upcoming NFL season.
All right, guys. NFC East, last place, I got the New York Giants.
Okay.
As we know, Russell Wilson is looking to lead the way for the Giants for Coach Brian Dable. And I don't know if he's going to be cooking. He's going to give him an opportunity. We'll see how he does. I think he'll play a fair amount of the season. But a guy named Jackson Dart, rookie, had a great preseason.
Yeah, he did.
And I do think that Brian Dable will move to Dart eventually. I'm not going to give it a timeline for it.
Yeah.
I think he gives Wilson at least 7-8 weeks. This could be later in the season, or if Wilson goes down, I do believe that Dart will get a start. I know that they have Jameis Winston, and he did a lot for our Cleveland Browns last year.
Baby.
It is possible you could see him, but I do think that Dable, he wants to save his job. He needs to start turning things around. He made the playoffs a few years back, but they've been bad the last few years.
They overachieved that year, by the way. He got the most out of Jones.
They did.
And Barkley had a big year and was healthy. And
letting Barkley go, Jim Schoen, the GM of the Giants, not a great move on his part.
No.
Dable's just trying to coach. Schoen, didn't want to pay him. I mean, he was trying to pay defensive linemen, and I'll get there, but they're awesome. But Barkley would have been a nice fit to still have on this Giants team.
Yep.
At any rate, guys, Malik Neighbors, he's
awesome.
He's an elite receiver.
Yep.
I think he's going to be one of the best in the business. I see him having a great year, even with Russ. Russ will cook with him.
Yes.
I'd like to see Dart later in the season connect with Neighbors. There's young guys that have some young blood together.
Yep.
I don't want to talk too much on the offensive side of things. The defense is with the Giants. That's their bread and butter.
Yeah,
their defensive line, one of the best in the whole NFL.
Yep.
I mean, they drafted rookie Abdul Carter out of Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
He's expected to have a huge season, guys, get a lot of sacks. I mean, some people are saying up to 10 sacks. I don't see much more. He could be a rotational player.
Yeah.
I mean, they have such a good line. Dexter Lawrence is awesome.
Yeah.
Brian Burns, they got from Carolina. He's a really good defensive end. So Carter, they have other players in there, so we'll see how they do with that. But they should be pretty awesome with that line, and the rest of the defense isn't as bad as well. I have them finishing at 5-12, guys.
Okay.
For last place. Now, in third place in the NFC East, I got the Dallas Cowboys, guys.
Steve's favorite team.
I hear there's some things that have been going on with that franchise lately, Steve.
Steve loves their postseason success.
Our friend, she's a big-time Dallas fan that works with my dad. Oh, God, she gives me hell every year. I mean, it's all in good fun. She doesn't like the Browns. She likes Dallas. Sue's her name. She's a great lady, great customer at Laconi's. Awesome.
Excellent.
But anyway, this is her team. New head coach Brian Schottenheimer was signed by Jerry Jones.
Last name rings a bell.
We liked Marty when he was for the Browns, and I liked what he did for the Chiefs and the Chargers. He never got far enough, but
R.I.P. Marty. Yep.
And R.I.P.
Love Marty.
Yep.
Nice family's got too. I watched the specials on TV. I actually like the hire. I just want to give him a chance. I know he doesn't live up to the big names and the big exposure in Dallas.
You think it's an upgrade over McCarthy, or is anything an upgrade over McCarthy?
I think it's an upgrade.
Yeah.
I do, because McCarthy, he had some flaws, and I also think he's not a good culture setter.
Yeah.
So I think Schottenheimer's a better fit for what they need to do.
Yeah.
I hope he works out because I did like his dad. Now, I'm not sold on him, and neither are NFL analysts and ESPN and NFL Network. They're not sold on him. What they're saying is, why did they even hire this guy? They felt like he jumped loops, like he went straight to head coach when maybe he could have been like a coordinator or something else. But I think, he watched his dad all his life. I think he can persevere and do well.
Okay.
I do think it takes time. I don't think he's going to be great right away. I think Dak Prescott, I do think he'll have another pretty good year.
Dakota Rain, baby.
He's got C.D. Lamb, as we know, as his number one option. They acquired George Pickens from the Steelers, so that gives them another guy to pass the ball to. I'll get to the defense. The defense is in trouble.
Yes.
Losing Micah Parsons.
I heard they lost a pretty important guy there, Steve.
Their most important. That would be like the Browns losing Myles Garrett.
Well, we almost went there, by the way. Thank you very much. You know,
the Browns elected to sign Garrett and keep him, whereas Dallas elected to make a trade, get more draft capital. They're looking towards the future. I think they realize Schottenheimer is like a rookie head coach.
Well,
and
be real with me. Didn't you expect them to sign him? I mean, Jerry's played this game before, all the way back to Emmitt Smith back in the 90s.
Guess what he said, Dave?
Go ahead.
He said to fans live on TV on NFL Network,
Yeah.
he said, fans, you can rest. You can rest. Go to sleep at night. It's going to be okay. Meaning, like, he thought he would negotiate something to make it work.
Yeah.
And when they found out it didn't, I mean, this is the NFL, and it tells you that a story, anything can happen, and Parsons is out. But in the long run, this may be a better pick. And I don't know how Parsons, that's tough. Contract negotiations are tough, guys.
I actually think both sides win.
Yeah.
I do. I think the Cowboys are a team that isn't going anywhere. They need to regroup, rebuild, and I think the Packers are pieces away.
Well, that's what I mean. And 2 first-round picks is nothing to shy about. You know, I think Clark's a solid player too. Who they got?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not. I mean, what they got out is not all bad. You know, so. But I actually did think that Jerry was going to get a deal done. And you go back to like Zeke, and you know, you look these deals that he's done in the past, all the way back to Emmitt Smith. You know, he plays these games, but eventually
pays.
Yeah, he eventually pays, and he gets guys signed. You know, so.
And then maybe he's learning from this because sometimes he signed guys and they got paid too much and they didn't finish they might have done good in the first year of the contract, and then they didn't finish that. So maybe he just realized, hey, we'll take those 2 first-round picks and roll with it.
Yeah.
At any rate, guys, I got the Cowboys going at 7-10.
Okay.
I don't see him winning. That's why I got them at 3rd place. Let me get into my 2nd place team, guys. I got the Washington Commanders.
Yes, my team.
Certain quarterback that our guy likes here.
Jaden Daniels and Brent
My second favorite team.
Brent was right on this guy. I didn't know, at LSU, I didn't know how well he would be, and
he was
Brent
awesome.
said, no, he's going to be good.
He was good at LSU, too.
He carried that. That was a great offense, by the way, that LSU offense in 23. It was fun.
And you watch those games, Dave.
Yeah,
you remember. Yeah, he's a winner, but keep going, Steve.
Yeah, I do think that he can play like he did. I don't know if they're getting to an NFC championship, but I do think that he will do very well. Even though this is a sophomore year, he might be one guy that can defeat the sophomore slump. He might not win as many games or get as far as they did, but I do think he's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to struggle.
Even with everyone watching, watching film and tape, I think he'll still be good because he just.
I saw enough.
Yeah,
he
just is that.
He's in the top 5 NFL quarterbacks by
far.
far.
He's the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, they made a move to kind of help him out, Steve. I don't know if you noticed, they did help him get back a certain offensive weapon that could be helpful to him.
Oh, yeah.
Scary Terry?
Well, they did sign Terry McLaurin. They were afraid he was going to leave, like Parsons in Dallas. McLaurin, it sounded like he was out. It sounded like he did not want to be there.
Yeah.
He was going to be out. And they made it happen. And this is the NFL. This is negotiations, guys, and that's how it works. They did get Deebo Samuel. I'm not sure.
Forgot about Deebo.
Yeah, they did.
I'm not sure if I'm totally sold on him because
he's a little aged.
Injuries, age.
Yeah.
Sometimes his attitude.
How old's Deebo now? Late 20s?
Yeah, he's been in the league about 6 years, 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think his best days are past him.
Could be.
But he still could be a nice weapon for Daniels to get the ball to. I think he should have a decent season. I think the defense is tough, and this roster cracks the top 10. I think they're going to do fairly well. I have them at 11-6, and we'll just see how that goes with that. Anyway, to win the division, no brainer here. I got the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
they're going to try to run it back to the Super Bowl. This is just my opinion. Yes, they have a top roster. Yes, they got a top defense, the best offensive line.
Keep going.
People are not giving Mr. Jalen Hurts enough credit.
Yeah, I agree
Brent,
with that. Probably true.
I said it. I believe when we did our podcast together, just for fun, I said Jalen Hurts is going to be your breakthrough player, your surprise, your dark horse.
Yeah.
And I was correct. I talked to guys in Philadelphia by tweet. I was tweeting shows, and they said, nah, we don't even know if he's the starter. I go, he is your starter.
Well,
and he will be. Now, he definitely improved, and the tush push, I mean, he has a play named after him that almost got banned out of the NFL. I mean, tell me this guy isn't good.
I was against that, by the way.
He's way underrated.
I tell defenses, stop it. Just stop it. If you're good enough, you'd stop the play. That's what I would say.
I think they're going to eventually ban it.
You do think
Yeah,
so?
it's going to be banned.
I think if there is a legal shove, then I can get it. But, I mean, the way they do it, you know what I mean, that's a tough play to
but you're getting an assist. Think about it.
Yeah.
You're assisting somebody going forward. That seems illegal to me.
But they agreed this year that they're going
to keep it.
Roll with
but it's let's put it this way, it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, it is.
But
some good off-season fodder there.
Yeah. We'll get into that later. But keep going, Steve.
Okay, obviously Saquon Barkley had that magical season.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to have the year that he did last year. But
2,000 yards is tough, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty tough to break there, but he's pretty awesome. And then, as we know, we mentioned him earlier, they got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith at receivers.
That's good, too.
I mean, those guys are solid. This defense is elite. I loved what they did against the Chiefs of Patrick Mahomes. I watched they put those highlights on
I didn't
ESPN.
like it.
I couldn't believe how fast they got in. Mahomes even being the GOAT, he had no chance. I mean, they were just right on.
Looked like a mismatch, didn't it, Dave?
That offensive line was maybe not at its best. I kind of agree with you, Brent. The play calling could have been maybe slightly different.
I don't know if they win the game.
I don't think so either. They were up against a stacked deck. That front seven, to me, is just loaded with a capital L. And the back end of the defense is good. I'll get into that in a minute.
And they hit their stride. Don't forget about the Eagles after that Rams game.
You also saw, once Hurst proved that he could just hit a few down-the-field throws to keep the defense honest with that running game, how good they could be.
Yeah. And they are just that good. That's why I got them in first place. They got the top roster of the NFL, in my opinion. Guys, I got them at 12-5 and winning that division.
Okay.
All right. We're going to get to Mr. Dave Green Show. Dave, give us your thoughts on the NFC East.
Yeah, it's interesting when I look at the bottom two teams because essentially what I've got is basically a tie between these two teams, actually. Right now, I'm going to start with the Dallas Cowboys. What I like is the return of Dakota Rain Prescott. He should help. Remember, when he's basically had a full season the last couple of years, 2021, 2023, he threw for 37 touchdowns and 36 touchdowns, respectively, in both of those seasons. So as we were talking about your guy, Justin Herbert, he does put up those regular season numbers. Playoffs, maybe not so much. It's interesting. Dakota's first 2 or 3 playoff games were not that bad. His rookie year and then his second time in the playoffs in 2008.
He's got a couple wins.
Yeah, he does.
In the postseason.
Yeah, he does.
Got out of the wild card round.
Right. He ran into Rodgers in a shootout that first year as a rookie, and he played really well in that game. And even the game they lost to the Rams on the way to the Rams Super Bowl in 2018, he played really well in that game.
Don't forget, a lot of Dallas's problems are more of a defensive collapse.
I think it's defense, and I think it's coaching.
Yeah, coaching, correct. Yes. Yep.
I do really like the Lamb and Pickens combo at receiver. Lamb's had 3 straight 100-plus catch seasons. I think the acquisition of Pickens gives them a solid number 2. I also like tight end Jake Ferguson, who made the Pro Bowl in 23. He regressed a little bit last season, but bottom line, that gives Dakota 3 really good targets to throw the football to. What I don't like, let's start with the obvious. I mean, losing Micah Parsons is just huge. I mean, we're talking about a guy...
Devastating.
I mean, 52.5 sacks, 112 quarterback hits, and 9 forced fumbles in 4 seasons. This guy is arguably... I mean, we talk about Miles. He might be right under Miles.
Behind Miles Garrett and T.J. Watt?
Yes.
He's there.
I can make a case I'd take him maybe over Watt. It's really, really close. They did get the 2 first-round draft picks. They got 9-year veteran Kenny Clark. who actually had 7.5 sacks. He's a solid player. But this just leaves a pretty big hole in this defense. The injury to cornerback Travion Diggs, his status is uncertain after undergoing knee surgery in January. This was near a bottom defense last year, giving up 27.5 points a game, and that was with Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
The offensive line...
And coaching had a major factor in that.
The offensive line is still a major question. The loss of future Hall of Famer Zach Martin at center. They went 12th overall pick with Tyler Booker at guard. So, I mean, we're going to have to see about the offensive line as well. Overall, Dak throwing the ball to Lamb and Pickens can only take this team so far. I'm not crazy about the offensive line. I think the defense is only going to be worse without Parsons. That loss was huge. Again, we talked about where he's at in the pecking order of edge rushers in the NFL and defensive players. Right now, I've got him going 6-10, but I actually could have made a case for 6-11, guys. I really could have.
Yeah.
The next team that I've got in the division is the New York Giants. What I like about this team is, I'm going to get into it, the front seven. You know, I really do think Abdul Carter, we just picked Rookie of the Year. If we picked a defensive Rookie of the Year, I think Abdul Carter is getting the most run.
I would agree.
And I think in case, Steve, the Browns were thinking about trading that pick. Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been interesting. This guy will need to develop, and I think in the next 2 or 3 years, I think he's going to develop into one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Dexter Lawrence is great, coming off a career-high 9 sacks, pardon me. You had Brian Burns in the equation with 8.5 sacks. It's a really good group. On offense, they found a stud number 1. I think Malik Neighbors is it. A good friend of mine sent me a text when I was ranking top 5 receivers in the offseason, and putting together a list, and he had Malik Neighbors in his. I wasn't quite willing to go there, but I could see it in the future. We'll have to see if Wan'Dale Robinson or Darius Slayton can provide this team a decent number 2. So, it's interesting. Tyron Tracy did have a solid rookie year, 800 yards rushing on only 192 carries. Could give them a little bit of a running game as well. The concern is obvious. Russell Wilson's close to the end, guys. Is the term washed strong enough?
I think he's done now.
Well,
he's washed. It's over.
So you think it's washed?
There was a reason Sean Payton wanted to be done with him in Denver. So
yeah.
He did all right, Pittsburgh. He did all right, Pittsburgh.
He did all right, and then they played good teams, and then we realized he was washed.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what happened until they played their last 4 games when they played teams with winning records, and then you saw it in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, Russell Wilson is close to done. It may just be a matter of time before we see rookie Jackson Dart. What are you banking on? Maybe second half of the season?
That's what I'm thinking. Midway, second half.
Okay.
We'll see Dart.
Yeah. The offensive line after Andrew Thomas, who's one of the best tackles in football and a Pro Bowl type caliber, is lacking. PFF, our friends over there, rank it 28th out of 32 NFL offensive lines. The secondary has some concerns. As much as we like that front seven, they made changes at cornerback and safety. Even with that front seven, they still ranked 21st in points allowed, so they could stand to be a little bit better on that side of the ball. The bottom line, if the changes in the secondary work, the front seven is there, but the Russ-Dart combo at quarterback is highly questionable still, especially with a suspect offensive line. I've got them going 7-10. I think maybe the strength of the defense, a little bit of run game. I think they find their way to seven wins. But I think both of these teams just as easily could go 6-11. I'm going to get to my second place team, which is Brent Scott, Mr. Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
The Rookie of the Year with the Washington Commanders. They found their guy. They found the future of quarterback. His rookie year was great, reviving this franchise, leading the team to the NFC Championship game. After serious contract issues, they got Scary Terry. And, if you're quarterback, you have to give him his number 1 target. And, he was great even, when he didn't have great quarterback play. Guy had 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons, even when he didn't have a quarterback there. Now he's got a quarterback. They signed veteran Deebo Samuel. He's going to have to improve on 51 receptions. I think even if he's the number 2, they're going to need a little bit more productivity out of him than that. They also tried to solidify the offensive line by adding Laramie Tunsil in free agency, and Oregon standout Josh Connerly was a first-round draft pick. I like veteran Zach Ertz. I still think he's got a little bit of game left in him at tight end. I don't know about Eckler at running back. The running back situation,
he's done.
Yeah, he might be towards the end. And I used to be a big Eckler fan.
I like him for the Chargers.
Yeah, he was solid, but he's basically become a third-down running back. That's a concern. They
traded one of their backs, right?
Yeah. So the talent around Daniels, although I think it's good, I just don't know if it's good enough. I kind of get Brent's point. He may have done a little bit of an 07 LeBron last year, taking that team to the championship game. Because I'll tell you, one of my concerns, that was the 30th ranked defense overall last year. So it was not a great defense.
He played against the Spurs.
Yeah.
And got swept.
Yeah, he just carried the team that far. I do think they cut the Lions at the right time, though, too. Goff having an off day, and they had defensive injuries, too.
And don't forget, Goff last year was a little bit funky toward the end.
Yeah.
And you're right.
And they had injuries on defense. Hutchinson and some of their key guys were out. They did let go of Pro Bowl defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. They did bring in some help. I don't know if Dietrich Wise, Cleveland Farrell is going to help that defensive front. The secondary still has some questions. We'll see if former four-time Pro Bowl cornerback Marshawn Lattimore is there and can be a shutdown corner. They did draft Trey Amos to the secondary. I do like rookie Mike Sammer still, who had a nice impact in 19 games overall. My conclusion is I really like Daniels. I like him even more with Scary Terry. We'll see if they can develop a number 2. I have some questions about that defense still. Not sure on all the moves. That being said, I think they're going to go 10-7. I do. I got them at 10-7.
Wow. Well said.
My first place team, I'm going to close out with the Eagles. What's not to like about this? The best offensive line in football, the best pair of tackles in Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, the best running back in football, a 2,000-yard rusher in Saquon Barkley, a great 1-2 punch in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Oh, by the way, have I gotten to the defense? The starting team line with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Well, I actually think Jalen Carter could be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Nolan Smith is really good. All-pro linebacker Zach Bond. Cooper DeJean was really good at corner last year. I mean, there's just a lot here, dude. It is the best overall roster in football. Can we just be in agreement on that, guys?
I agree.
Okay. What I would say, my concerns, is just Jalen Hurts' consistency. The passing game, if you take a look at it, there was like 4 games in there in early November where he had a QBR under 60. So he had some struggles. And remember, he was not great against Green Bay, and he was not great in that Rams playoff game. And the Rams had a chance to beat him. Barkley bailed them out in that game with that big rushing performance.
He had some injuries, though.
Yeah, but you could see when he just was able to complete some passes, the championship game and the Super Bowl were what?
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It was blowouts.
Yes.
I would also add maybe the Super Bowl hangover. Remember, in 22, they had a dip in 23. So do keep
that. That could repeat itself.
That could repeat itself. That being said,
Absolutely.
There's just too much talent to regress. The division is still doable, even though I think Washington is good with your guy Daniels. This team is clearly the best. 12-5, they win the division.
Well said, Dave. All right, we're going to get into our next one. That's the NFC North, and we will go to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, give us your season preview for the NFC North.
All right, boys. I got the Chicago Bears in last place. Ben Johnson left Detroit as the coordinator to take over this job. It's interesting to see if he can take Caleb Williams and to be a better quarterback, being that he's an offensive-minded guy. He can pass the ball to DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. I think that those guys are good receivers for him. I do think that Chicago still struggles. I know many might believe that they could do better than how he's faring it right now. I think this defense is looking to improve, with Montez Sweat. I have been last place, guys, just because I think this division is so strong.
Yeah, it's a really good division. It's amazing how this division's come up, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people probably aren't going to agree with me. They might have the Bears ahead at the 1 or 2 slots, but
yeah,
this is where I have them. I just don't think that and then with Ben Johnson being a rookie head coach, I just don't think they're going to do quite enough.
Do you like Ben Johnson, by the way? I've heard some maybe that this is a kind of a
make or break.
No, that this could be an outside candidate for Coach of the Year type guy. Then if he gets Caleb Williams to play a little bit better football, maybe.
Yeah, if he gets Williams to play better. So on a good note, they hired Johnson, who's an offensive-minded coach, where he had a defensive-minded coach before that. So this should help his development. He's still young and trying to live up to that number 1 draft pick. At any rate, guys, I have them going 7-10 in last place, but they will win some ball games and they'll turn some heads here and there. In the 3 slot, I got the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
Now, no one's going to agree with me here. I watch it. I think J.J. McCarthy's awesome. It's almost like his rookie year. I know he was injured.
I think awesome is a bit of a stretch. You guys are on the awesome track. Would you even
I
go
love
that
JJ.
far? You go that far.
Yeah, he's a winner. He's a winner.
Okay.
I think he's more than just handoffs. He makes the right throws at the right time.
He does. He did.
And he's clutch.
College. Yeah.
I don't need a guy to air it out all the time and be successful. I need a balanced attack and make the plays when you need to. JJ does that.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like JJ, and then Kevin O'Connell being the head coach. He's a quarterback.
Yes.
He's a true quarterback.
That's what I like. Yes.
I think he's
good coach.
One of the
I
top
think so.
coaches. I mean, you guys will see in the next couple of years. He's a top coach. I think he already is now one of the better young coaches. And if he could develop,
he's another McVay.
Yeah, he could be a McVay. That's high praise.
Yeah, he's
high praise.
Not McVay yet, but he could be.
Yeah, he's McVay-esque. I will say that. And if you get McCarthy to do something, then you're really turning heads. And I think they're in the right direction. The Vikings have an awesome roster. They're one of the top rosters in the whole NFL.
It's really good.
You can't ask for a better guy to throw the ball to in Justin Jefferson. They also have Adam Thielen. So he's got weapons.
He does.
What was it? Jordan Addison, another player for Minnesota. That's pretty good. And if you get to the defensive side, Brian Flores.
Yeah.
This guy still, and if they do show success, he could be leaving to take on a head coach job. But he coached Miami a few years back. He got a raw deal, in my opinion.
Got a lawsuit, right?
Correct. Yeah.
The NFL
in Miami. So. This is his second year now with Minnesota as the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's good. I think Flores is good.
Flores is a solid coach. He's probably more suited, one of those guys that's more suited to be a defensive coordinator than a head coach, to be fair.
Yeah.
I do think he'll get another crack at a head coaching job down the road, but I would list him as probably one of the best defensive coordinators.
I used to call it the Norv Turner disease. You're better as a coordinator than a head coach.
Yeah, I did like Norv better
as a coordinator.
Yeah, I like Norv
as right there.
Yeah.
The defense is very strong. I have them going at 11-6.
Wow,
I know that's kind of a shocker.
Okay.
I don't think everyone's got them winning that many games.
Well, they won 14 games last year.
Yeah, they did win 14. I think that drops a little bit, but got them at 11-6, guys. I'm going to get to my number 2 pick for the division, and that's the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
The Packers are looking to reform to a good playoff team again with Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love back to work together.
Yeah.
I think that's a good combo, coach and quarterback. I expect a big year, and many are saying Green Bay should be one of the better teams in the whole NFL, and they got Josh Jacobs at running back. I mean, you can't ask for a better running back.
1,300 yards or something.
He seems to be great everywhere he's at.
Yeah.
He was awesome for the Raiders. He was awesome for Green Bay.
Yep.
That's not going to change. Jordan Love has some weapons to throw to. I mean, he's got Romeo Doubs. They drafted Matthew Golden.
I like him a lot.
I think Golden's going to have a year similar to Malik Neighbors did with the Giants.
Or Thomas, with the Jags,
Yeah, correct. So I think that he's up for a big year, and I think Jordan Love just knows how to get the ball out and get the ball started.
You're a Love fan, right, Brent?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. You do like Jordan Love.
Jordan Love's my guy, yeah.
Now, after adding Micah Parsons to the defense in the
That's
trade
a good move.
with Dallas, yes, they gave up those 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
But this makes them a top defense. I would call them above average slightly before.
They were actually pretty good last year.
I guess I don't give them enough credit. I just thought they were slightly above average, but now this puts them in the top.
Yeah.
In the top defense, top 10 defense. Parsons should be a beast. Some are comparing it to when Reggie White went from the Eagles to the Packers. They're making some comparisons,
That's high praise, yeah.
I don't think Parsons is Reggie White, but I do think he's very good.
Second best defensive player of all time, Reggie White.
Yes,
yeah. So you can't say Parsons is there. But I got them going 12-5, guys. I think they're going to have a real solid year, and I think many will think that as well.
Okay.
I'm going to get to my number 1 team, and that's the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Now, some are saying Detroit slips and Green Bay goes up, and some are saying that. I think that they're still a first-place team, guys.
Okay.
And I don't think they're going away anytime soon.
How concerned are you at the loss of the coordinators? They lost both. They lost both coordinators.
Yes, they did. Glenn did the Jets, and
Johnson now the head coach of the Bears, right?
Of the Bears, yes. So they will.
It's a huge impact.
It's not minor.
Campbell's a motivator.
Yeah.
He needs the coordinators. He's not on a McVay.
No, he's not an X's and O's guy.
No, he needs that. Yep.
In the same way Sirianni needed good coordinators.
Yep.
They're kind of similar, but Campbell's got that hard ass.
That's
edge.
why I talked about the Steelers coach.
Yeah.
He's got to have good coordinators to succeed.
You're right.
Yep.
Go ahead.
This could be a case, kind of like how the Eagles lost Stain Shiken and Jonathan Gannon.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good comparison to say, to live up to what you guys are saying. I still think they're that tough though to win the division.
Yeah.
But you're going to see maybe some fall off.
15 wins is.
You're not. They're not going to be good enough.
You're not seeing 15 wins. I do love Dan Campbell, a blue collar guy in a blue collar town. I think he's an excellent coach. He's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. It'll be interesting to see how they do. Like we just said, losing those coordinators. Jared Goff should have another big season.
Mm-hmm.
Jahmyr Gibbs should get the majority of the carries.
Love Gibbs.
You got Montgomery, but Gibbs should be huge in running and receiving. Amon St. Brown, he'll be catching a lot of footballs. Expect him to have a huge season.
Yes, the weapons are great.
And now to get to the defense, I'm a little excited to see Aiden Hutchinson back.
Yes.
Coming back from injury.
Yeah, big fan.
He's one of the better ends in the game, and I think he's going to be awesome. I think he's going to live up to his potential and what we wanted to see. It was unfortunate he got hurt. I got them at 13-4, guys.
All right.
And that's still winning a lot of ball games.
Yep.
Well said, Steve. We'll get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Dave, give us your thoughts on the NFC North.
All right. We may have a little bit of disagreement here, but I'm going to get into the bottom of the division where we do have agreement. I'm going to start with the Chicago Bears. What I like is the weapons look pretty good. Luther Burden, DJ Moore, second-year pro, Rome Odunze. It should be a formidable receiving trio that should give Caleb Williams some help. Moore has caught 194 passes for over 2,300 yards and 14 touchdowns over the last few years. I would add Odunze's 54 catches for 734 yards and 3 touchdowns was pretty solid in 2024. For a defense that was ranked 27th in yards allowed, they have a few dudes. I'm going to start with a pair of Pro Bowlers, Montez Sweat and Jalen Johnson. They also added Grady Jarrett, who was a 2-time Pro Bowler defensive tackle. This should help a really very weak run defense. And the defense should make some improvements in 25. My concerns, I'm going to start with the growth of Caleb Williams. Hiring Ben Johnson might help. He ended up with a solid year of 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 picks. He needs to avoid the sacks. 68 sacks is not going to work. That was a problem, and I think there were games where those sacks were on him. Again, it's not always on the offensive line with the sacks. Sometimes you're just holding the ball too long. That does bring me to the other concern. I do think the offensive line was not good last year. They made some moves. They brought in Joe Tooney from the Chiefs, who could be a loss for the Chiefs, and Drew Dahlman at center. They could really use a better year from DeAndre Swift, who's a running back I used to like. He was the running back in Philly before Barkley on that 22.
In Detroit, too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was also in Detroit as well. Only 3.8 yards a carry last year. Now, that could be due to the offensive line, so an improvement there could help that rushing total. My conclusion is the continued growth of Williams is going to be the key. Johnson is a really good, play caller, but I'm not sure he's a quarterback whisperer. Remember, Jared Goff was a finished product when he got him there to a certain extent.
Yeah, he was.
In Detroit. He didn't have to develop Jared Goff from rookie level to, the quarterback.
McVay did a good job there.
McVay already took that ball and ran with it. The weapons are very good. We'll see if the O-line and the defense improves. I'm going to go 6-10. I could have gone 6-11, but I'm going to go 7-10. The third place team is the Minnesota Vikings. What I like, I'm going to start with the coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell, who I think is one of the best, and one of the best play callers. He's done it with 3 quarterbacks. He did it with Cousins. He did it with Sam Darnold, and now he's going to try to do it with JJ, I should say. What's going to help out Mr. McCarthy is one of the best 1-2 punches at wide receiver in Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Justin Jefferson is, to me, one of the best two best receivers in football. 3+ 100 catch seasons in the last 4 years. Addison's a solid number 2. He had 60+ catches for 9 touchdowns last year. They also have a good tight end in T.J. Hawkinson, one of the better tight ends in football. He actually had a 95-catch season in 2023. We'll see if he can get back to that level this year. The offensive line is solid. Top-notch tackle duo. The front seven of the defense is pretty solid as well. Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard combining for 23.5 sacks. They did add Jonathan Allen from Washington, so that could give them a third pass rusher. So within the front seven defensive line, they've got some guys who can get after the quarterback. My concerns, it's the J.J. So. I know we've got some fanboys here. I've got some doubts. My concern is, does his game from college translate to the NFL? He made a lot of plays outside the structure of the offense when he was up north. Can he be a consistent pocket passer? That's what I wonder. Because he was always making plays outside of the pocket. I wonder if he can be. Now, again, he's got the coaching, he's got the receivers. It would also help if he had a good running game. Over the last few years, they've had one of the worst rushing attacks, ranking 24th or worse in yards per carry the last 3 years. I would also add, for the talent on defense, you'd think they would have been better than 16th overall. So maybe they could level up a little bit better on that side of the ball. My conclusion, there's a fair amount to like here. Repeating 14 wins is going to be really hard. I like O'Connell. As I said, I think he's one of the best play callers in the league. I think he'll help with JJ's development, but I think there's going to be some growing pains. I've got this team going 10-7. Pardon me.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to start with my second place team, and that's the Detroit Lions. There's a fair amount to like here at all different levels. I loved Coach Dan Campbell. He's not one of those great poupon head coaches, as Brent Keaton would say. He's a guy's guy, and nobody can outbench Dan Campbell. If there's an A in Alpha, it's Dan Campbell, by the way. This offense is loaded with talent. Let's start with Jared Goff. He combined for 67 touchdowns the last 2 years. He's still not lacking in talent around him. The Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery combination might be the best running back duo in football. Give me J-Mo Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown at wide receiver. That's a pretty good duo as well. And Sam Laporta is one of the more underrated tight ends in football. 60 receptions for 7 touchdowns last year. With all that talent around him, he still put up numbers in this offense. The health of the defense, is going to be better this year, and they have some dudes on that side of the ball. I think injuries did hurt them and cost them in the playoffs when your buddy Mr. Daniels was able to exploit them.
Oh, yeah.
Let's start with getting back star defensive end Aiden Hutchinson, who I think could be an outside candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He broke his leg in his fifth game last year, and that was really a killer for this defense. I love Brian Branch. He's one of the best safeties in football, earned a Pro Bowl nod, making a switch from nickel to safety. Those are the two of the best players at their position in football. The concerns, offensive line is a concern. They lost two key starting offensive linemen last year. To me, along with the Eagles, they had one of the two best offensive lines in the NFL last year. We'll see after losing 2 starters if they can maintain that high level. I would also add they lost the 2 coordinators, as we talked about earlier. I think Ben Johnson and the loss of Aaron Glenn, they're going to feel that. Maybe particularly early in the season, by the way, adjusting to a new offense and a new defense. How does that affect both units? I would also add, the defense needs to stay healthy, and Jared Goff needs to rebound after a really bad playoff performance, as that 5 picks wasn't good. Conclusion, this team still has far too much talent. The losses on the O-line could hurt that dominant unit. Again, the OC and DC losses were really huge. They're not going to win 15 games, but they're going 12-5.
Give us your top pick, Dave.
My top pick in the division, it's the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
There's a lot to like here. I'm going to start with Micah Parsons. We're talking about one of the 2 best pass rushers in the NFL, maybe 3 if you want to take Watt above him. This was really the 5th-ranked defense, Steve, in 2024 in yards allowed and 6th in scoring.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
This was already a really good defense. Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons could form a really good defensive end combo. Safety Xavier McKinney earned first-team All-Pro honors. The offense was led by Josh Jacobs, over 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. You're right, whether it's with the Raiders, whether it's in Green Bay, he's a great running back. And LaFleur wants to run the ball. He wants to have a balanced attack. The passing game should be improved. I think Matthew Golden is going to be an impact rookie. The passing offense was really affected by drops last year. They had 33 drop passes, which is pretty high. I think Jordan Love's going to rebound. In 2023, remember, he threw for over 4,000 yards and 32 touchdowns last year. His production dipped a little bit last year. I think with the improvement at wide receiver, I think it goes up. There's some concerns. The line's a little bit of flux. They lost Pro Bowl guard Elgton Jenkins, moving to center, to an incumbent left tackle, Rasheed Walker, competing in training camp with 2024 first-round draft pick Jordan Morgan to keep his job. Only athletic center Zach Tom and right guard Sean Ryan appears entrenched at their position, so they've moved some pieces around there. I also look for the real improvement. Is the improvement at receiver real? Jalen Reed, Romeo Dobbs, can they have a positive impact? Still have some questions there. Conclusion, the addition of Micah Parsons improves an already dominant unit. I expect a level up from Jordan Love, a really strong running game. I've got this team going 12-5 and winning the division.
Well said, Dave. Excellent. All right, we will get to the next one. And the next division there is the NFC South. And we will go to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, want to give me your thoughts about the NFC South this upcoming season?
All right, Brent. In last place, I have the New Orleans Saints. Spencer Rattler gets the starting nod at quarterback, which I was kind of surprised because I do think we're going to see Tyler Shaw eventually. I'm surprised they didn't start Shaw. Now, I did watch a lot of preseason on the Saints, but I do think we are going to see him. Rattler, he's always done just enough to play, but he's not a true starter. I mean, he's average, below average. I mean, but he can run and pass. You got Alvin Kamara at running back. He's, getting older, so he's not quite the guy he was, but he's still solid. Chris Olave and Brandon Cooks are targets that he can throw to. I like Olave, the former Ohio State, and Brandon Cooks going back to his original team, right? Another guy player that went back, kind of like Cooper and the Raiders. Cooks back to New Orleans. Do you like the trend here? Old receivers going back to their original team.
The skill player talent is about all I like here, by the way. This roster, what's amazing is the decline of this roster in the post-Drew Brees era, by the way. This roster really peaked like 4 or 5 years ago, or Brees' last year.
And when Peyton was out, so were the Saints.
Yeah. Well, that just shows you what a quarterback coach combination can do for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The defense, so not too bad. They're a little older, but they got some good veterans. Cameron Jordan expected to have a good year again. He does every year. Demario Davis, the linebacker, he's getting up there, but he should be a pretty good player for the Saints. I mean, he was good for the Jets. He had a good year for the Browns years ago.
Right.
I think he'll be okay. I do think the Saints are going to be one of the worst in the whole NFL, though.
They're going to be bad.
Pretty bad, guys. I got them at 3-14.
Yeah, they're going to be bad.
To finish third in the division, I got the Carolina Panthers. I think Bryce Young improved a lot from last season.
I like Bryce Young. Are you a Bryce Young fan?
I am. I wasn't at first.
I wasn't at first either.
I thought you liked him in Alabama, Steve.
I was never big with him, to be honest. I always thought he was short. And that.
He gave me a little bit of Kyler Murray vibes coming out of college.
Yeah.
And I was never a big Kyler Murray fan.
Yeah, I understand that.
I like Murray. But yeah, Young, he's proven that he can be the number one pick. He can be the future for Carolina. They should win many more games. Chuba Hubbard leads the way in the running game. He was solid last year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to help Young's development this year as well. They throw to that guy named T-Mac. That was the guy that we can't pronounce his name. That's our Joe Fate Boone phrase for the day. He's hard to say, but just call him. Let's go with T-Mac.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of balls thrown his way. I think the defense is looking to improve for Carolina.
It was a bad group last year.
I just think that they're going to improve, but to get into closing with them, I got them going at 7-10, guys. I mean, that's just what it is. What it is. They'll win more games, but 7-10.
Okay.
I'm going to get to my number 2 team in the division. I got the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
Here's some interesting stuff here. Michael Penix Jr. leads the way as the quarterback, but John Robinson should be expected to have another huge year running the ball. He had a huge year
Dude,
last year.
he's
what a freak. He's
dude,
like a freak of nature,
He's
right?
on his way. Him and Gibbs will take over from Barkley and Henry as the best running backs in the NFL in the next year.
That's a great comparison, Dave.
Think, yeah.
They got Drake London and Darnell Mooney that could catch the ball. They have tight end Kyle Pitts.
Yes.
He should come back and play better than he did the last couple of years.
It's going to be interesting. Everybody expected him to be a stud out of Florida. I wonder if he develops a chemistry with Penix.
Yeah. And, Kirk Cousins, of course, is the backup. I don't think you're going to see him. I think they do want to stick with Penix Jr.
Did you like what you saw from Penix in that small sample size?
I liked him, but I'm not totally sold as your franchise quarterback. I know they want him to be.
I still would go with Kirk. And that's what I think. Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I think I know why they did it, but I think Kirk still got some years left, and I would have. I would have waited on that transition. I know some of it's injury, and we know. But go ahead.
But you drafted the guy high for a reason, obviously.
I understand.
Yeah.
I think.
Does he need time to develop, though, Brent? What do you think?
I mean, what did he have as far as games last year under his belt, Penix? About a half a season?
Well, no, he only had like 3 or 4 games.
3 or 4.
But the couple of them I saw towards the end of the year, he did play pretty well. So, but it's a smaller sample size.
I
agree with Steve. I need to see more.
I want the Mahomes thing. I want him sitting the whole season and let the other guy. What was it?
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Yeah.
I want that. That's what I would do. Just being honest.
All right, guys. The defense. Now, do you go there with the Falcons?
Yeah.
It's expected to improve, but I still have a question mark on their defense.
Made some changes.
They did make some changes. But anyway, guys, I got them going 8-9. I just think that I don't see them with a winning record, but they are going to improve. Penix Jr. I don't know. Like Brent just said, if Cousins was in there, maybe they'd win a few more games.
I do think they put him in a good situation, though. I do think they put the talent around him for him to succeed.
Yeah, they do have the talent around, so that's good. To win the division, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I guess I'll say this. I wasn't sold on Todd Bowles as a head coach, and now I'm going to tell you, I'm sold for Todd Bowles as a head coach. You
miss Bruce?
Bruce Arians?
That's right.
I did like Bruce.
I like
Arians.
Bruce. He had no issues. He wasn't a hothead. He had no attitude problems. He seemed level-headed.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That was said tongue-in-cheek. I was buying that for a minute, Brent. By the way.
Right, yeah, him and Brady a few years back. Right?
Seemed like a real humble guy,
These guys got a Super Bowl ring.
He ate his peas and carrots every day at 5 o'clock. Didn't seem like there was any fire under there at all. Yeah. Anyways, continue, Steve.
So I like Bowles because he was there, and our guy, former player, former Brown, Baker Mayfield, he's now cracked the top 10 to 12 list for quarterbacks. I mean, this guy's just gotten better and better, guys. I mean, unbelievable.
Baker Mayfield.
I actually miss the guy. I mean, I would love to have him as our quarterback now, but he found a home in Tampa, and he deserves just that.
So Browns fans watched Baker Mayfield throw for 41 touchdown passes last year, and what are you thinking?
We got Watson, and we're miserable.
There's a certain guy here, I'm not going to say, that was never a fan of that quarterback.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not a Baker guy like you guys are.
Well, guys, he's expected to have a big year, and so is Mike Evans.
Yes.
He's trying to break Jerry Rice's record of 12 straight 1,000-yard seasons. That'll be an awesome feat. I think he will do just that. Chris Godwin's coming off of injuries, but he's there to catch some balls. They drafted rookie Emeka Egbuka of Ohio State.
OH.
I.O.
There we go.
Expect him to contribute to the passing game. He should have a big year, especially if Godwin's hurt. And Baker actually proves to you he can get the ball out and fast and get it to you. He connects with many receivers. I mean, he's not the Cleveland Brown you seen more years ago, besides his rookie.
Yeah, he's definitely improved.
There's a guy at this table that says he believes he's shown some growth. He's matured.
I don't know who that would be.
You know that guy?
Last name's not Keaton. I know that it's someone else. Oh man. Yeah. Anyways, keep going, Steve.
I'll get to the defense now, guys. They're led by Devontae David and Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah. As
we know, Antoine Winfield Jr., his dad played for Minnesota. he was a Akron Garfield guy, and those guys are top on the defense. I actually went to a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game last year. I watched them play. They lost to Denver, but it was fun.
Did you miss a Browns game so you could watch Tampa Bay, Steve?
I never do this, but it happened to be the Browns versus the Giants.
Okay.
And Watson, I heard, didn't play so hot. I had to get some
News
from Brent, but I didn't miss a good game, so that was good. But me and my dad had a good time at any rate, and it was fun. Never been to Tampa for a football game, and I can tell you it was pretty cool. Bathroom's too clean for me, though. I'm used to. They have a top roster. I think they're awesome. I got them at 11-6, guys.
All right. Well said, Steve. Or actually, Dave, we're going to get to you here. Give us your thoughts on the NFC South.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start at the bottom, and the New Orleans Saints. What is there to like here? Well, how about not much? When you look at this team, it's going to be really bad. I do think there's some offensive weapons here. I like Chris Olave, former Ohio State wide receiver, OH. They have some credible threats there. Alvin Kamara, I think, is still one of the better running backs working out of the backfield, although I think he's near the end. He's still a very good dual threat running back. We'll see how much he's got left in the tank. Really, when I look at a lot of this roster, it's extremely lacking. Major concerns. You look at the quarterbacks, Jake Hayner and actually Spencer Rattler combined to go winless in 2024. They drafted, second round out of Louisville, Tyler Howe, I believe. Howe, I think is the right name.
It might be right. I said Shaw.
Yeah, but I have my doubts. The offensive line has concerns as well. They've invested draft capital in there over the last few years. 4 former first-round picks are in the mix to start and play on that roster. They'll need to improve this offense and take a step up in 2025. Despite benefiting from relatively good health on the defensive side of the ball, the Saints ranked 30th overall in total defense. So I don't like the offensive line. I don't like the quarterback situation. And the defense was ranked 30th overall. I'm not sure if former Chargers reject head coach Brandon Staley is going to improve this defense much. The conclusion here is the offense does need to take a step up with stable quarterback play and improved offensive line play, which I'm not sure they're going to get. Did I mention the defense is really bad as well? It's time to plan for 2026 and the draft. This team is going 3-14. I agree with Steve. They're going to be very, very bad. I could have maybe made a case for 4 wins, but I'm going with 3.
Yeah.
Number 3 in this division is the Carolina Panthers. What I like is the continued development of Bryce Young. He had 7 touchdowns with no picks in his last 3 games with a quarterback rating over 100 in those games. I really like rookie Mr. McMillan. I'm going to call him a wide receiver. Don't say it, Steve.
I won't.
The number 8 pick in the draft out of Arizona. I think he's going to be a number 1. I don't like them trading Adam Thielen, by the way, who I think would have been a solid vet and a really good number 2. I do think Chuba Hubbard has another really good year at running back, nearly 1,200 yards last year, 1,195, and 10 touchdowns. Jalen Coker, an undrafted free agent in 24, could be a bright spot at tight end. He could maybe give Bryce a second target. The Panthers' defense was really bad last year, but their 2 best defensive players, interior lineman Derek Brown, who's very good, and J.C. Horn at corner played really well and earned a Pro Bowl spot in 2024. The concerns really on the defensive side of the ball. Carolina's 32 sacks in 2024, tied for the 3rd fewest in the NFL. They're going to need to find more of a pass rush. Panthers have to start stopping people, especially on the ground. If they can find just a middle-of-the-pack defense, if they can maybe get into the lower 20s, this is a team that could slip into the playoffs instead of the dead last unit they were a year ago. So we'll see if they can make some improvement. The offensive line is still somewhat questionable. This is a team that could also really use the emergence of a number 2. I mentioned Thielen being traded. We'll have to see about Xavier Legette, David Moore, possibly Jimmy Horn Jr., who is that number 2 receiver next to Hunter in Colorado. Yeah, that Shador was throwing the ball to a lot last year. The conclusion is the continued improvement of Bryce Young is what I'm looking forward to on this team. Again, if a number 2 steps up, I think that completes this offense. I think it can be really good. I think the defense will show a little bit of improvement this year. I don't think they're going to be the 30th or 32nd ranked defense in the NFL. I think they could be a playoff team. I've got them borderline. They're going to go 9-8.
Yeah, I like the pick. I like the prediction.
Yeah, I think there's some things to like there, and you know what, Bryce Young. I hope this franchise continues to invest around him. Offensive line, weapons. They've started to do that a little bit. They may be one more draft away from being in the playoffs. You know what they are? They're kind of, to me, the New England of the NFC. You know, where I think New England needs another draft.
They're on the come up.
They're on the come up. They need another draft, another good offseason before they become a playoff team.
Yeah, they're going to improve.
My second place team, and the team I like coming into this year, is the Atlanta Falcons. I think this offense has legit potential. Let's start at quarterback. I think he showed real growth last year. He looked like a capable NFL quarterback in his last 3 games. I know it's a small sample size. I really do. The other thing that I really like about him is his help. Let's start with a 1,400-yard running back that ran for 14 touchdowns last year. Pardon me, Bijan Robinson. I think this guy's a stud. I think it's a matter of time before in the next couple years he's one of the 2 or 3 best running backs in the NFL. I like the wide receiver position. I think Darnell Mooney and Drake London are a really underrated 1-2 punch at wide receiver. I would also add they had one of the better offensive lines in football. The 8th rated offensive line, according to our friends at PFF, coming into the 2025 season. So this could be a really good group up front. So he's got running back, he's got a good 1-2 punch at wide receiver, and he's got a very good offensive line. It's checking the boxes, guys. This offense could be very good this year. My concerns, we talked about the offense, it's the defense. They had some real questions. Falcons ranked amongst the bottom 3 in teams last season in pass rush grade. They made some changes. We'll see if they work. Pierce, the defensive end they took out of Tennessee, I think could be a player. So they brought in some talent, but again, it's unproven. The other area of concern really on the defense is the secondary, particularly at corner. A.J. Terrell, Mike Hughes, and Bill Bowman were lacking. I don't know. That's an area where I think you can expose them. You know, maybe if they have a better pass rush, that can help mitigate things a little bit. My conclusion is, even with the small sample size, I do like what I saw from Penix. The weapons are really good to help the cause. Still not sure about the defense, although I think they'll be a little bit better with some of those changes they made. Secondary, a bit of a concern, but I got them going 10-7. I do.
Nice.
My first place team in this division is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What I like? Let's start with Baker Mayfield, baby. He had the 4,000 yards passing.
Baker bro.
4,000 yards passing and 41 touchdowns, Mr. Brent Keaton. Is that bad? I don't think it's bad.
You're breaking up. I don't know. I'm not hearing any of this.
You know, it helps having a future Hall of Fame wide receiver in Mike Evans, 11 straight 1,000-yard season. It's unbelievable. I told you this for a while, Steve. To me, he was the one that made Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M look good. You know, throwing up those YOLO balls to Mike Evans. Watch out for rookie Emeka Egbuka. He definitely gives them insurance from Chris Godwin, who missed 10 games last year due to injury. I really like Bucky Irvin at running back. 1,100 yards rushing, 5.4 yards a carry. Gives them some balance and some running game. Tampa Bay has
a good back. Absolutely.
One of the best offensive lines in football, led arguably by the best pass blocking offensive lineman. They enter last year, their left tackles, Tristan Wirfs, by the way, is that offensive lineman, and a 94.1 PFF pass blocking grade last year. That was the guy I wanted the Browns to take over Jedrick Wills, by the way. And I won that argument.
You did?
Yeah. The concerns defensively. With a defensive-minded coach, I thought they would have done a lot better than 18th best in the NFL. I do love Winfield Jr. I think he's one of the better players in the secondary in the NFL. I think he's top-notch. I think they could use a little bit more pass rush, maybe a little bit more in the back end as well. I think they need to level up a little bit defensively if they're going to make a Super Bowl run. The offense is in place. I mean, I do think this offense is Super Bowl caliber when you look at receiver.
Absolutely.
When you look at running back, when you look at O-line, and when you look at quarterback, Brent Keaton. If that defense can make a step up, they can make a run. I'm picking them at 11-6 to win the division.
Very well said, Dave. All right, we're going to wrap things up, guys, and we are going to go to the NFC West, and we will go to Mr. Steve Retzer to wrap things up. Steve, get us started here on the NFC West. Give us some thoughts on the NFC West this upcoming season.
All right, Brent. I got the Arizona Cardinals to finish last in the basement. I hate to do it because I actually was kind of a Cardinals fan. I don't mind them Kyler Murray leads the way at quarterback. James Conner, he'll
ageless wonder, by the way. There's an ageless wonder.
Was he in the movie The Terminator?
James Conner?
Sarah Connor. Yeah. Sarah. Yeah. He's out to get Sarah.
He was a former Steeler.
Yes.
Not a bad running back. He'll get the majority of the carries. And what I'm excited to see, biggest upside for them, is Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a huge year out of him. I do think that Murray can get him the ball.
Had a solid rookie year, but I think people expected a little bit more with the hype out of Ohio State.
My expectations were higher with him, too.
Yeah.
I just feel like Murray, this is kind of like make or break, and then year for him, he's really got to step it up. I mean, I think he can be a starter, but I think that he must really show improvement. I mean, it's just, he really needs to, guys. He's just, I don't, it's just something that he needs to work on. Defensively, I do like the Cardinals on defense. All right,
that's
they got Davlin Tomlinson, the old Brown. I think he'll do well for them. Another former Brown, Mack Wilson Sr., linebacker. If you remember, he was the guy that tackled Patrick Mahomes in the 2020 playoff game years ago. He should have a real good year. I mean, they really said that he's improved, and Buda Baker, best guy for him in the second.
Yeah, he had
one of the top NFL players in the whole NFL.
I like Baker.
They rate him real high every year in the top 100. He's pretty good, guys. And I watched a little bit of Arizona preseason, just flipping the channel, and I'm impressed with their defense. The offense, I think, needs a little work, and we'll see. I do have them winning some games, though. I got them going 7-10.
Okay.
But unfortunately, last place. Just the way this division works, they're going to be in last place there. To go in third place, I got the Seattle Seahawks. As we know, Sam Darnold, he leads the way at quarterback after leaving the Vikings without a contract. I don't see him playing that well.
It didn't end well last year for Sam. It did not end well.
Steve, do you like Sam Darnold?
I am not a Darnold guy. I know you are. When we talked about it,
I am not. No, you get no high five. You get no high five. I'm raising my hand to agree with Steve Retzer.
Me and Brent had a debate.
I want to suck to get Sam Darnold to draft him.
Dave, when Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were playing for Carolina, we did a little show together. He took Darnold, I took Baker.
There you go.
I ended up being the guy in the right end of things on that. But
oh my God!
But they both ended up not playing well in Carolina.
That's true.
We know.
That's
it's
true.
just Carolina, not the best place to play, at least then. I don't see Darnold as their future. I just don't.
Yeah.
Drew Lock is set to back him up, but I may make a bold prediction here, guys. Even if they do throw Drew Lock in, he's not really the answer, and does Seattle really want him to play? I like a guy named Jalen Milroe.
Okay.
Out of Alabama. They
Why do you like Jalen Milroe, by the way?
Well, he was under Tommy Rees, so he's another Tommy Rees disciple of the Browns. No, that's a bad example. What I like is this guy reminds me of Lamar Jackson. I mean, he can run the football. He will work on his passing, but Jackson had to do that as well. He's not going to be Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But even if he was just a small version.
I'll tell you what, great completion percentage.
Yeah, by the way, that's Apple. I watched them both in college. I watched a lot of Lamar, and I watched a lot of I call him Mildew. Because, and that's apple to bowling ball comparison, Steve. I mean, Lamar, even in college, had this thing called accuracy. And I hear it's kind of important with quarterbacks. And I never saw that from Mildew. I mean, there was a lot of just, a total inaccuracy. Even from clean pockets, he was inaccurate. So, I digress.
Other than that, he's good.
Yes.
I do think you're going to see him, though, this year. That's my opinion. And it's going to do similar to how the Falcons benched Kirk Cousins and went with Michael Penix Jr. I think the same is going to happen. Sam Darnold, they decide to take him out. They try Milroe, even though he's a developmental quarterback. I'll give you that, he is developmental. I think they still want to see what they got in their pick. I think they're going to play him. They have Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith and Jigma to throw the ball to.
That could be good.
So they do have some weapons on offense there. The defense is expected to be at the top. Seattle's a tough place to play. The stadium's very loud. I think that they're going to be semi-productive. I got them going 8-9, guys.
Okay.
I don't have them with a winning season, but 8-9.
That's where I got them there. Second in the division, I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
They have to make a come up. That I'm usually not fond of when teams sign a player to a big contract, because usually they don't live up to that contract. But we got Brent's guy, Mr.
Another
Brock
quarterback,
Purdy.
yeah, that Mr. Keaton
He got paid. Now,
Yes,
can
he
he
did get
live
a
up to the
contract,
pay?
yeah.
He did get his contract that he's been waiting for. I do think that they're going to be better than last year.
Right.
They have a lot of injuries. They were always like Super Bowl caliber every year.
Yeah, that roster is kind of slowly starting to decline.
Yeah, it's starting to decline.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, of course he's great. I mean, everyone would say he's the top running back in the league if he's healthy, if he's out there. When he's not out there, he's not doing the team any favors. Yeah, he just, they got to keep him healthy. With my pick, I'm assuming he needs to be healthy at least so many games.
Right.
I think George Kittle is still the top tight end in the game. I think
Kittle monster.
I like Kittle.
I
Debo gone though,
Yeah, Debo's out.
Yeah.
So, but Brock still had some guys, and then defensively, they're led by Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. I still think that defense is good, but again, same thing. They got to.
Saleh coming back to run it could be big.
Ooh, thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
That is true. Robert Saleh coming back to run that defense. He was so successful years ago.
Right.
Then after fired for the Jets, coming back. I do like him being involved with that team, and of course their head coach, as we know, Shanahan is an excellent head coach, the one at the top. I got them going 9-8, guys. So that's where I got the 49ers.
Okay. In your first place team.
To close it out, first place, I got the Rams, guys. Sean McVay has another Super Bowl caliber team. Quarterback Matthew Stafford leads the way, guys. He hasn't slowed down a bit, I don't think. He's had injuries right now.
They're saying the health is good. I've heard that.
So that's good. Maybe just keep him out.
Yes.
They got to have him healthy because they know what kind of year that he can be up for.
No need to play a 37-year-old quarterback in preseason.
No, you don't need to see it. Kyron Williams, he's one of the top running backs in the game.
Yep.
I mean, he's really solid. He's surprised me. I didn't think of him as top back, but he is. He had a huge year last year, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Dave, I know you like this guy, Puka Nacua.
I like a little puka. I like a little puka in my life, Frankie.
A little Puka.
Puka.
Puka, Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
They got him. Adams is getting older. In my opinion, he's not like a Mike Evans, that good, but he's solid.
You can be good number 2 now.
Yeah, good number 2. So look for many balls to go that way.
Yep.
They're a young defense. They got a strong defensive line.
Yes.
I think they're going to really do things this year. I got them winning in the division, and I got them 11-6, guys.
Okay.
Steve, well said. All right, we will get Mr. Dave Greenshield to wrap the things up for part 2 of the Extravaganza. Dave, give us your thoughts about the NFC West to wrap things up.
Well, starting off, we're going to have some disagreement here. A little bit of a disagreement here at the bottom. I'm going to start with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, there's some things I really like
Ooh,
here.
last, huh?
Yeah, well, there's some things I like. I like the skill players. I'm going to start with wide receiver. I love JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, former Buckeye, OH. He's coming off a season where he had 100-plus catches last year and only his second season. He's going to be really good. I'm interested to see what a 32-year-old Cooper Kupp is going to look like. His numbers did decline. Look, that 21 season, he had 145 catches. I didn't even realize that. That's how good he was in 2021.
Wow.
145 catches. Anchored by a strong defensive line and one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Byron Murphy looked the part of a game-wrecking defensive tackle. Leonard Williams came up short of his career-high 11 sacks and made his second Pro Bowl. So there's some talent on this defense. Even in the secondary, cornerback Devon Witherspoon earned his second Pro Bowl appearance last year. But somehow the defense finished 14th. Maybe not the sum of its parts. Should have been a little bit better than that. Concerns. Well, let's start with Sam Darnold. I'm not there either. Do we get the same Darnold we saw the first 16 games of last year, or do we get the same Sam Darnold we saw the last 2 games of last season? He's being put in a good offense with good weapons, but he had better weapons in Minnesota with the Jefferson-Addison combination. Plus, he had better coaching with O'Connell compared to Clint Kubiak, who's best known for being Gary Kubiak's son.
Right.
So the coaching was better. The offense could use a much better O-line as well, which was one of the league's worst units in 24. allowing 54 sacks, tied for the third most in the NFL. They also need Kenneth Walker to give them a little bit better running game. I liked him coming out of Michigan State, but 3.7 yards a carry ain't going to work. Maybe improved offensive line play would help that. In my conclusion, I have my doubts about Darnold. A bad offensive line doesn't help the cause. The coaching might not be there as well. The roster has some talent, but due to the quarterback play, offensive line, I've got them going 7-10. I'm going to go with my third pick. I like the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're going to be solid. I was wavering on their record, and I'll get to that in just a minute. They have a strong running game. I like James Conner. He's over 30 years old, but get this, 1,100 yards rushing last year with 8 touchdowns. Not bad production for an over 30-year-old running back. I like their tight end. Trey McBride became a Pro Bowler in 24 with 1,100 yards receiving and 111 receptions. I think that between him and Marvin Harrison, who has great potential, 62 catches, 8 touchdowns last year. By the way, watch out for rookie Paris Johnson on the offensive line. I think he's developing into one of the best tackles in football. He's going to be an all-pro for years to come. I'm not just saying that because he's a Buckeye. The concerns, I still have my doubts about Murray. He's had a solid kind of rebound season in 24, but I still have my doubts about him staying healthy and on the field. Remember, he's had some injury problems in the past. Being an undersized quarterback that wants to run around a little bit, is not always the best thing in the NFL. The defense needs to make some improvement. Steve, you mentioned there's some guys, Buda Baker, there's some talent on that side of the ball that I really like. They did make some off-season moves to improve the front seven. I like Josh Sweat, who had a career-high 11 sacks in 2022 and earned a Pro Bowl nod in 21. Can he get back to that production to help the pass rush? That's going to be key. My conclusion, I really think the improvements to the front seven can help this pass rush. It's going to come down to Murray, his health. If he stays healthy for a full season, they've got some weapons around them. They can run, they can pass. I'm going to pick them to go 8-9. I think they go 8-9. I was on borderline, by the way, of 9-8. My second place team is the San Francisco 49ers. What I do like Fred Warner and Nick Bosa leading this defense. Although the defense isn't quite as dominant as it was in years past, we'll see if Robert Saleh running the defense can help improve that. But, Bosa, one of the better edge rushers, and Fred Warner, one of the better linebackers in the NFL. By the way, the injuries hurt this team, but by the way, the talent's still there. Trent Williams is still one of the best tackles in football. I think Ayuk is very underrated at wide receiver, and Christian McCaffrey, when healthy, is still one of the better running backs. Health is going to be the concern. That's why this team went downhill. Juwan Jennings, underrated at wide receiver, 77 catches for 975 yards last year, had a very nice year. My concerns, Purdy. The decline was last year. Now, are you of the view that decline, Brent, I know he's your guy, was basically because of the weapons around him just not being there?
No, I just think he had an off year a little bit, and I think he'll rebound from it. And don't forget, I think also a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover.
Okay.
So
yeah.
That happens.
If he gets back Trent Williams, who's healthy, one of the best offensive tackles and a future Hall of Famer, he's 37 years old, and you give me a full season out of C-Mac at running back, I think that would help.
The weapons didn't, not being there, that was a factor. Yeah. I'm just saying, though, it was a little bit of an off season as well.
Yeah, and then Kittle, was going to turn 32 years old in October. You wonder about it. See, this roster is aging a little bit. It peaked maybe a couple of years ago when I thought it was as good a roster as there was in the NFL, but I think there's a slow decline here. Again, I think it's talented. Overall, just my bottom line conclusion with this team is I think they're going to be good this year, but I think it's in slow decline. I think Purdy improves a little bit. I think Saleh will help the defense. I just don't think they're quite good enough to make the playoffs. I got them going 9-8. My number one team, and a team I think can really contend for the Super Bowl, is the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to start with one of the best offensive minds in football. I'm a Sean McVay guy.
Big time.
I'm just
yeah.
He's proved
McVay as well.
He's proved much like Andy Reid, he can win with multiple quarterbacks. He took 2 different quarterbacks to the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford can sling it. I like that they left him in bubble wrap for the entire preseason. I was hearing some issues with the back there. So, he's a 37-year-old. It makes sense to rest him for the preseason. They're saying he's, by the way, going to be ready for week number 1. He has the coaching. He has the weapons. The Puka and Devontae Adams combination, I think, going to be a great 1-2 punch. I love Kyron Williams at running back. This could actually be more talent around him than he had in 2021 when they won the Super Bowl, actually. The defense has really good pass rushers. I'm going to get to this guy later. I love Jared Verse. He led the NFL with 89 quarterback pressures in 2024. That's amazing. While defensive tackle Kobe Turner has more pressures against double teams since the start of 2023 than any other player, so he can get to the quarterback from the inside. My concerns, there's a few of them. I mean, Matthew Stafford's 37 years old. The back issues are there. So we'll have to see if he can stay healthy for the entire year. The defense needs to improve from 26th overall and 23rd against the run. The offensive line is solid, middle of the pack. It's not dominant, but I think it's good enough. Overall, in my conclusion, if Stafford's healthy, plays 15, 16 games, the sky's the limit because the playmakers are there at wide receiver and running back, and they've got the pass rushers on defense. Remember, these were the elements that they had in 2021. They acquired Von Miller to go with Aaron Donald to give him another pass rusher. They got our old buddy OBJ to go with Cooper Kupp at wide receiver. Stafford had his best season. They had that star power on the team, and they were able to ride that to winning the Super Bowl. So the elements are there from 2021. I've got them going 11-6 and winning the division.
Dave, very well said. Guys, great cast here today. Good. We did good on part 2. Let's get to some final thoughts before we kind of call it a wrap.
I had a lot of fun. We enjoy the AFC or the NFC. I still enjoy the NFC. Maybe the AFC a little bit more, Brent, but I had a lot of fun. How about you, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, I do like the AFC better, but I had a lot of fun with this NFC, and I like talking about the Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. We had some fun there.
Yeah, some interesting teams this year.
Detroit and Green Bay. Pretty interesting, guys.
All right, guys, looking forward to part 3. That'll be coming up, and we will be getting into our postseason predictions and also our regular season awards and the Super Bowl, picks, and the conference picks as well. So, guys, you guys have a good one. Take care.